speed reading competition, and the barbarian's got the book upside down. He's eating pages out of it.
Hey, it's high in fiber. That's all
It
that
is
really
high in fiber.
Yeah, that's good. You need roughage. We are actually in March Madness, which is, I believe, has something to do with the sports balls. It's the one where you throw it into a net, right? You throw it into the net.
Several of them.
You don't
throw it,
kick
you
it
like with
into
your hands. Okay,
you throw
yeah,
it with your hand. It's handball.
That's at least one sport.
There's a sport, and it does that, and it's important. And anyway, so that's March Madness. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk. But anyway, what I wanted to do, since we don't talk about those kinds of games, we talk about video and tabletop games.
Real games.
Yeah, the ones that people play, is how those are usually represented in those forms of media. And I didn't want to focus on the sports series that come out. So, your NBA 2K and, the Madden and all of those. I'm kind of more interested in how they are represented in a lot of open world games, where you have, like, horse racing in Red Dead Redemption. In GTA, though, you do have things like golf. Is
there golf in GTA? I haven't played GTA since San Andreas.
GTA 5 has golf and a couple other sports, but golf is usually the one people remember because it's like practically a full golf game inside of the GTA game.
They also have the Fight Club, which isn't necessarily a sport as much as it's a quest line.
It was also a book, but Chuck Palahniuk, if you're watching, reference.
They're not.
And sometimes you have fantasy sports, like, for instance, Blitzball.
Blitzball.
Which was like
a
whole thing unto itself. And so you see those pop up in video games a lot. But what I wanted to do is talk about, like, how we could use it in a tabletop game. I don't think a lot of people who play, like, your typical RPG, a Dungeons and or Dragons, would think to play a game about the b-ball or something in their game. But I think it could make for a really interesting, an interesting side quest, because, having to win the big game in your fantasies,
having to beat the Monstars.
You gotta beat the Monstars. We're basically just doing Space Jam. And 2, I think you get to play around with the mechanics a lot. Because you can use the mechanics in new and unique ways to do a sports game, like a team sports game, rather than doing it in the typical way of smashing people.
I think it would be fun if you did an improv sports game in, like, D&D or other RPG. If there's not a solid rule set for this sport or game or whatever you're going to do in the game, then let the players kind of come up with and give you the reasoning behind the thing they want to do. I want to try to get the ball in the basket. It's like, cool, what do you want to use to do it?
Sure.
It's like strength. Okay, why strength? Oh, I'm going to stand at the other fucking end of the court. I'm going to yeet the thing as far as I can.
Yeah, so it's a strength check.
So it's alright. Well, strength for getting it way over there, and it's like a dexterity, to make sure you can get it. So it's like a range shot at that point.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, that's the difference between, like, athletics and acrobatics, right? If you're doing it if you're trying to get, like, a 3-point shot from the back, that's athletics. That's a strength-based skill check. And that's how far you can throw things, basically.
Yeah, but it's also accuracy, because I can huck a baseball pretty far.
Yeah.
But boy, am I not accurate.
Right. If I'm trying to dunk the basketball, though, I want that to be an acrobatics check, because I've got to be able to, like, jump up and accurately hit it into the thing. I also think that it would be fun, you could utilize, like, to try and steal the ball, if you're, like, right next to your opponent, you could try using, like, sleight of hand to actually, like, almost pickpocket the ball, like a waiver.
And your enhancement wizards will be great.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's like, you want to cast Bear's Endurance on this guy?
I feel like spellcasters are going to have a real unfair advantage with some of the trickery that they can do over...
Barbarians, too.
Oh, that's true. Oh, Rage Ball. Let's play Rage Ball.
Yeet the gnome across the court?
Oh, that'd be great, yeah.
It's not a travel if you're not moving your feet, right?
That's true.
hand the ball to the gnome, pick him up, and yeet.
And throw that gnome just as far as you can.
A monk would probably be really good at a lot of these sports.
Oh, yeah, because they focus on completely unarmed combat. So, and that's pretty much what you're going to be done doing here, is essentially... any character that's really good at improvised weaponry would have a good advantage here, because you could just kind of consider the ball to be like an improvised weapon of sorts, and could probably utilize some of that. If you have someone who is like, brawler, or a barroom brawler, whatever that... tavern brawler? Yeah.
I want to see, like, the tabletop Olympics. So you've got your ranger doing, like, tennis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
you got your barbarian doing, like, strength, weightlifting.
Yes, your party winds up at the Fantasy Olympics, and now needs to compete in a variety of sports.
Here are all the different things you can enter. There are these activities, and each of you needs to enter at least one competition.
Who is going to do curling?
Pick the one you think you're suited for.
Who's going to do curling? I need to know who's going to try and toss the discs down the ice. Who is going to do that, actually? Someone with mage hand. Because you could just keep the mage hand on.
Yeah. I would think maybe a rogue, because they've got a lot of sleight of hand.
I was going to say rogues
they'd be good with that dexterity of the scrubbing the ice or whatever the hell that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got your weightlifting competition. Obviously, your strength builds are going to be good for that. You've got your running competition. Basically, just get a scout.
But a monk will be all over that.
Yeah.
Or a rogue.
Yep, you can do that real easy. What would you want to put your your pure spellcasting classes in? I have a wizard, or I have a sorcerer, or maybe even like a warlock. Like, what would I want to use them for? Would they even be in anything? I don't know.
Maybe there's a chess tournament.
Yeah, there's a chess tournament for the wizard. I do think that the mental stats are going to be a little hampered.
The biggest issue is your charisma classes.
Charisma classes have nothing to do here. It's not like the thing in Assassin's Creed Valhalla where you get to do the rhyming competition.
There's no flighting.
There's no flighting in this one, which is too bad. Are there any sports? I'm thinking to the Olympics. Like, are there any sports where charisma would be really useful? I mean, going back to the basketball thing. Oh, that's right. That's what that sport was called. Maybe if you're doing like the Harlem Globetrotters sort of basketball, the charisma might come into play. Get the stadium on your side for team sports. Be the hype man.
I guess it would depend on your party composition. But I feel like if you're actually going to make a fantasy Olympics, you would tailor that to what your party is anyways, so you could probably add in some non-physical competitions as well.
Sure.
So it'd be like, we're going to have a chess tournament, we're also going to have like a public speaking tournament. Maybe we'll have a tournament to see who can call down the most holiest of lights.
Yeah, it's the lighting competition. It's the holiday lighting competition, and it turns out clerics are really good at it. That's all you need to know.
You could do something like that, where it's like, who can call down the brightest, holiest beam?
Right.
Checking your devotion. It's a devotion competition.
Sure.
Or who's got the most exotic wild shape form.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Druids would probably be good at something, and I'm not quite sure what. Well, if they
anything they wanted.
Yeah, because they just transform into whatever animal.
Ooh, track race? I'm a cheetah.
Yeah, high jump? I'm a monkey. I just get my vault poke, I put my tail around it, and go woo, and just jump up in the air. Or kangaroo.
Boxing match, kangaroo.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Boxing. We almost forgot about boxing. Charisma could be useful in boxing to try and throw your opponent off of actually being able to hit you. You fake them out.
Sure. I mean, to be fair, a lot of those classes will end up having higher dexterity to make up for the lack of armor they have.
That is true. wisdom classes are going to have a hard time. Intelligence and wisdom classes for D&D would be very tricky.
Charisma's good for animal handling and riding.
Sure, and it's not just D&D. I think that you could do this in a lot of different systems, obviously, but I do feel like this is going to advantage a lot of the physical classes and not the mental classes, regardless of what you're using. So something to consider, I suppose.
You just have a second tournament second day where it's all mental stuff, and you have the barbarian going, I can't even read a book, what's going on? Speed reading competition, and the barbarian's got the book upside down, he's eating pages out of it.
Hey, it's high in fiber. That's all
it is really high in fiber.
Yeah, that's good. You need roughage. But I was thinking about the idea, if you had a team sport, so you're doing soccer or football for the heathens out there. Yes, rowing, anything like that. Could we get like a map of the field, and then would we have to like figure out where everybody's placement is on it?
Nobody would want that.
Nobody does?
I mean, I wouldn't.
Okay. I was thinking break out the miniatures
on a soccer game?
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely. Side note, because I was just thinking about like doing the miniatures and stuff. I don't know if you had seen, but Lego is going to be coming out with D&D sets. Use those to actually make your dungeons and everything, which would be cool. And you could even make your stadiums if you wanted to make the Lego Olympics.
That's an interesting one. Never considered using Legos to make a tabletop dungeon.
We had the one time where we talked about it with one of our guests, Brick Wars, where they did that, but that was for strategy games. That wasn't for a tabletop gaming for like RPGs. But boy, it seems like a match made in heaven if you think about it. Like trying to construct dungeons, you have building blocks and little guys that you can some of them are probably orcs if you wanted to play.
It's too much of a time investment for me.
Too much of a time investment. Everything is too much of a time investment. Whatever you're using, or Lincoln Logs, put it together with Lincoln Log. No one has those anymore, but you could. But I was just thinking it would be kind of neat if you actually had a stadium, and then you could figure out who's next to who, and who can break away. I am now very concerned because I was just thinking, why wouldn't the players just think to themselves, "I'll just punch the opposite team in the face"?
Well, it's not sportsman's smart.
Unsportsmanlike.
Blah, blah, blah. Unsportsmanlike. Thank you. I was like, what's the term? I don't sport.
There is a mini game in War Tales. Is it 4 or 6? It's a number of the members of your team, and they will go onto a court against your opposing team. And the idea is to run this ball to the opposite end of the courtyard, past all of the people. And so what they do is they take all of your equipment away, and then they give you a very basic, a number of things that you can do. You can, like, kick the ball across the court, you can pass it over, or you can, like, run the ball a certain amount. And people can also trip you or push you down, and the ball will fall out of your hands and they can retrieve it. And I think it was this that really got me thinking about the idea of doing like a team sport, but as a game, because that is also turn-based. And the order of operation that you go is very much determined by your speed. So I don't know if reaction or speed might come into play. You could use it. I'm thinking almost you'd have to do that as everybody taking their turn at the same time. Like your team could take their turn, and then the other team could take their whole reaction turn afterward.
Something like that.
Is there a story reason for this that isn't just trying to rip off Space Jam?
Yeah, there's tournaments and festivals and stuff like that happen all the time in like medieval or fantasy stuff. So
real easy one would be what they usually use those for is that the grand prize is the thing that you're trying to recover.
Yeah, grand prize is the
MacGuffin.
You get to kiss the hand of the princess.
The grand prize is a magical scroll, and they don't know what it does, but it's also the scroll that you have to recover for the wizard or whatever. And
great.
Yeah, perfect. You got to compete in this competition.
A key to the town.
A key to the
Lo and
town.
behold, it actually works.
Yes, and I can open every single house in the town, and your thief is so happy.
Yeah. The tournament's only prize is prima nocta rights.
Have fun. I wouldn't want to get too bogged down in the mechanics, so I don't know if you'd want to actually lay this all out or just kind of try to roleplay a bunch of it out rather than look at it from a strategy standpoint. Yeah. But it is interesting to think about using in an athletic sense a lot of the skills and abilities that you have in those systems and how you could reuse them in a different way. So that's for March Madness. Go ahead. Do some sports balls. Go sports go.
Go Madness.
We heart sports.
Do we? Nobody. No.
We head sports.
We head sports.
We sports.
It's in the game.
Well, not since they got rid of the Wii, it's not in the game. If you have ever made a sports competition in your game, let me know in the comments down below, and we will be happy to discuss it somewhat in the details down below, as long as it's March. Once April rolls around, no. Sorry.
We're not getting into it. Sorry, bye.
Yeah, too bad.